What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I want to make a quick video here about this Geo Tracker. This was a no start condition that was giving me a headache, and I'm sure there's other people chasing the same issue, giving them a headache. So I want to make a video showing what we found. Okay, so this was a no start. Came here as a no start. Checked everything, obviously, to see if we had fuel, to see if we had spark. Okay, we had fuel pressure, and we had spark. Okay. Check spark here, stick a spark plug in it, let it ground, crank it, see if you have spark. We had spark. Okay. What we did have fuel pressure also. Okay. But what we didn't have was we didn't have a signal to the injectors. Okay. And I'm going to show you how we got there. So no start condition. First thing, diagnostic connector here. Okay. This is a 95. This is what the diagnostic connector looks like on a 95. 94 and older is different. It's a 4-pin instead of a 6. What we did here, jump pins 2, which is the center top, and pin 4, which is the bottom left. Jump those 2 pins. You're going to turn the key on. You're going to watch the check engine light. It's going to flash a code. If it flashes code 12, that means everything's fine as far as the computer's concerned. Now what we got was a code 41, which is an ignition signal code. Alright? So that's telling us something is wrong with the signal getting back to the computer from the ignition system. Okay. This is the igniter. That could be the issue. That's not our issue because we have spark. All right. So check spark. If you have spark, everything in your ignition system then is working. But if you have code 41 and you have spark, your issue is that the signal's not getting to the ECM. Okay. So here is the reason that it's not getting to the ECM. Okay, so what this is a noise suppression filter for the ignition system. So this takes ignition noise out, basically, one, for the radio so that you don't have interference with that, and 2 is to reduce the amount of voltage from the ignition system back to the computer. Okay, so this has 2 circuits in it. On a 95, it has 2 circuits in it. One of those circuits is a capacitor, the other is a resistor going back to the ECM. So what we checked was, according to the wiring diagram, on this plug, the bottom 2, which you can see this is corroded, the bottom 2 are the resistor. One of those, there's a signal wire from the igniter, the other one goes to the ECM through a resistor. Check that circuit. So you're going to ohm out the bottom 2 pins, and what we got was 0, or basically open. I'm sorry, not 0, but infinite. So we had an open circuit. What you need to see there is around 2,000 ohms or 2 kilo ohms. All right, we weren't getting that. So what we did is we took a temporary resistor here and we jumped those 2 pins. Okay, and this resistor, this is a 2,000 ohm resistor. Anywhere from like 1.8 to 2.2 should work fine. Try to get, I think the book calls for 2.2, so if you have a 2.2 or you can get a 2.2, use that. But this is a way to check the circuit anyhow. So I jumped those 2 wires, the bottom 2 pins, brown and white and all brown. Okay, and then this vehicle starts. So I'm sure this is an issue people are having. I chased this one down for a while. The tricky thing about it is you get to the point where you have fuel pressure, you have spark, you add some sort of accelerant to the intake, propane or starting fluid, and you can get the car to start. So it doesn't make sense until you check and find out that you don't have a pulse at the injector. So what this is a Noid light, and this is how I checked for pulse at the injector. Basically this plugs into the injector connection, and it has a little light in here. So you have somebody crank it for you and you watch this light. Now if this light was flashing continuously while you're cranking, then you know you have an injector pulse. But what we were getting was one flash right at the beginning of cranking and then no more. So what that told me was that the injector circuit was fine, the capacitor was fine inside the ECM because we were getting a pulse, but we weren't continuing to get a pulse, so the ECM wasn't seeing what it needed to see to continue having a pulse. One other thing you could have an issue with if you're not getting an injector pulse is what's called clear flood mode. So if the TPS, which is right here, if this were to go bad and this were to max out, it would think that you were trying to clear flood. And so clear flood basically says that if you push the accelerator all the way to the floor, that it means you think you have a flooded engine. That will turn off the injectors also. So if this were to go bad and give 5 volts or close to 5 volts, then that would also give us the same problem we had. So the way that I ruled this out was just disconnecting it. I pulled this off, tried to crank it without the connector on. That didn't make a difference. That's when I came to this part. So I'm gonna see if I can get this part from a dealer or the aftermarket. I have to try to look it up and see if it's something that's available. If it's not, I'll get the correct resistor for this and I'll basically wire it into this circuit. That way we have what we need. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. See you later.